Good evening, everyone. One of our core issues here is not only to make sure that there's a curriculum for teaching about Holocaust education, but also education on all genocides. And we brought a special guest from Washington, D.C. today to speak to us about the Uyghur genocide taking place in China. It is the Prime Minister of East Turkistan government in exile, Salih Hudayar. Salih, please join.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I want to thank the Voices for Truth and Humanity for not only hosting tonight's important event, but for their gracious invitation for me to speak and to help raise awareness about the ongoing genocide of Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples in East Turkestan. As some of you might already be aware, I'm Salih Hudayar, an Uyghur American political refugee and Prime Minister of the East Turkestan government, in exile, in enforced exile. East Turkestan, our beloved, beautiful, and resourceful homeland, lies between Kazakhstan in the west, China in the east, India in the south, and Russia in the north. Since the 1949 takeover by Communist China, the people of East Turkestan, and particularly the Uyghurs, have been effectively rendered stateless. Today, nearly 73 years after the Chinese invasion of East Turkestan, the brutal atrocities of the Chinese Communist regime against the Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples have been officially recognized as genocide and crimes against humanity by several Western nations, including the United States government. In fact, at the beginning of this month, the UN came out with a report highlighting China's atrocities in East Turkestan, stating that it may constitute crimes against humanity. And of course, while this was not as strong as we had expected or hoped for due to Chinese government's extensive pressure on the UN, we feel that this will be a first step taken by the UN and encourage world governments and organizations across the world to take more meaningful and stronger actions. The Chinese government falsely claims that East Turkestan, which China calls Xinjiang, meaning the new colony or the new territory in the Chinese language, has been a part of China since ancient times. However, historical records show that China's claims are simply not true. Like the Jewish people, the Uyghurs have always resisted Chinese occupation and striven to restore their independence. China's ongoing genocide aims to eradicate Uyghur and other Turkic peoples and ensure that East Turkestan becomes a so-called inseparable part of China. China claims that it has brought development and modernization to East Turkestan, when it has brought nothing but colonization, indoctrination, forced assimilation, sterilization, and genocide. Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples have been systematically marginalized and driven into poverty by the Chinese government. Currently, millions of Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples are being used as slave labor by Chinese companies or are undergoing torture, political indoctrination, forced starvation, rape and other forms of sexual abuse, organ harvesting, sterilization, and even summary execution in Chinese concentration camps and prisons. At the same time, over 850,000 Uyghur and other Turkic children have been forcibly separated from their families and sent to state-run boarding schools and orphanages to be raised as, quote, loyal Chinese citizens, end quote. Our culture, our history, our religious freedom, and our very existence is being eroded by the Chinese Communist government. The plight of the Uyghur people of East Turkestan in many ways resembles the Jewish struggle to restore their rightful liberty. Today, we ask for your help. The Jewish nation has achieved the freedom that we are only dreaming of. They have overcome the Pharaoh of the past. They have managed to rescue their imprisoned and persecuted from the former Soviet Union and other parts of the world. They have rebuilt their land and shown the world that justice can take place. I am personally a fan of the Bielski brothers and their selfless service to their people. A scene in the well-known movie The Defiance illustrates a moment when the brothers agreed to take action. Only once the weakest among the people will also be allowed to escape. We, the Uyghurs, and the other Turkic peoples of East Turkestan are at that low point in our history. We are seeking allies to stand with us against the dragon that conquered and devastated our land. Now that dragon is devouring our people. In 2021, last year, Israel voted in the UN Human Rights Council to condemn China's atrocities against our people in East Turkestan. While most of the Muslim countries across the world, with the exception of Albania, either stood in silence or supported the Chinese government's atrocities in East Turkestan. Since the 1990s, the Chinese government has also been harvesting the organs of Uyghur and other Turkic prisoners in East Turkestan. After launching its ongoing campaign of genocide in East Turkestan in May 2014, the Chinese government has also been harvesting and selling the organs of Uyghur and other Turkic victims of China's concentration camps and prisons to wealthy Muslims in the Middle East as so-called halal organs. Tragically, many Muslim countries are helping China facilitate its ongoing genocide against the people of East Turkestan due to their close economic and political relations with China. In 2008, due to reports of forced organ harvesting in China and in East Turkestan, Israel was the first in the world to ban organ transplant tourism. Professor Jacob Levy of the Sheba Medical Center played a vital role in enacting the law prohibiting Israelis from obtaining organs in China for transplant surgeries. What Uyghurs need today is a modern-day Raoul Wallenbergs. And I believe that there's plenty more that Jewish and Israeli organizations can do to help East Turkestani victims of Chinese communist brutality. And who knows, maybe one day East Turkestan will also be part of the Abraham Accords and enjoy warm relations with other friendly nations in the Middle East. May the upcoming Rosh Hashanah be a sweet new year for the Jewish nation and the people of Israel. Please pray for our people to see some happiness too. Shana Tova Umektuba.